What do you think after the midterm elections and Donald Trump announcing that he is, I guess I'll post our conversation tomorrow when he's supposed to announce
Right.
that he's running for president for the third time again. Where is Trumpism?
The only thing Trump should be announcing is what kind of lunch he wants in the prison cafeteria. I mean, or he should be announcing that he wants a TV change in the prison rec room to Fox News. The man is a terrorist.
Excuse me. Can you change that?
I'm going to be on Fox News in a few minutes. Can you put me on? I'll be calling in from C Block T. It's like, I don't do a Trump impression, but yeah, the Trumpism's not dead. The guy's running for president. It's dead. If he went away, I will say Americans who believe in democracy, even Republicans, stood up in this election and defeated every single Secretary of State candidate in the battleground states who were democracy deniers, I call them. And if they won, they would have been democracy killers. So that's the big thing. But literally now, when we're pre-taping this, right before he went on, Trump was already saying there's fraud in Arizona. He was sort of hinting it, but now he's saying it. It's not over. He is still beloved by the GOP base. Until he is rejected by the GOP base, then Trumpism is alive. Denying elections alive. Bigotry, political violence, fascism still lives in this country.
Yeah, you and I have been talking about this on our shows with ourselves, with guests, and there were a lot of concerns and predictions about the health or future of democracy in this country. How do you see where we're at now with the midterm elections over, with all of the governors that were election deniers losing, the secretaries of state election deniers also losing? Obviously, several House members that were election deniers did get elected, and we can talk about why that is. But in terms of the health of democracy, you talked with historians like Ruth Ben-Ghiat and more about all of this. Where do you think that we're at right now? How are we positioned for the next 2 years and for in states as well as the presidential election 2024?
Well, since I've known the results, I've stopped Googling dual citizenship. I'm a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm like,
have you?
If Trump were to win, I don't know what happens. Like, honestly, if these election deniers won in these states, like Arizona, Mark Fincham, Oath Keeper, big Trump election denier, and Jim Marchant in Nevada, who literally said if he won, Trump would win in 2024. You can't guarantee that unless you're going to rig the election. Right. It would be a much more troublesome time for where we're heading as a nation. And I've had so many serious conversations with people who have actually thought about, can I become a citizen in another country? Can I live in another country? Because you don't want to be the first one out, but you don't want to be the last one out. And I was looking at my language skills, so I'm limited to Canada, England, and New Jersey. Those are my three options right now. New Jersey being my first choice. But it's really, I feel, I talk to my listeners, same thing, and on social media, we feel so much more optimistic about the United States of America and also inspired that so many of our fellow Americans stood up and voted these people down. And I'll tell you, it was deliberate, folks, because look, for example, in Nevada. In Nevada, the Republican nominee for governor, Lombardo, denounced Trump's lies about the election. During the debate, said, I don't believe any of that. He goes, there's always fraud in an election, but not enough to change it. He wins. Jim Marchant, Republican nominee for Secretary of State on that same line, big election denier, loses. And in Arizona, Mark Fincham, who I've written about, one of the worst election deniers out there, lost by over 100,000 votes where they could call that election on Friday. Kari Lake, I know, horrible, but still kind of known. She's down, and it looks like, by the time this airs, she may be declared the loser. It's going to be really hard for her to come back. But in any event, she's tooth and nail. I mean, it's different. I think people took it seriously. And I think President Biden, he was slammed by people like even by Van Jones and others about this democracy speech. He should be talking about inflation. No, he was doing the right thing. By elevating it twice in a month, September and then early November, President Biden, people don't pay attention, go, oh my God, this must be serious. The president is twice doing national addresses on democracy. Maybe I should actually pay attention.